Okay, lawsuits cost us a lot of money, but the biggest cost is not the money. It's all the good stuff we don't get to have because innovators are scared of being sued. Monsanto gave up on a fire-resistant asbestos substitute because they worried it might attract lawsuits. Likewise, Genentech gave up searching for an AIDS vaccine. This is the invisible harm, and it really hurts people. The Institute for Legal Reform, part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, surveyed small businesses and found that almost half, 45%, said they made a product unavailable to avoid lawsuits. And then there's the increased cost and lost jobs. 61% said they changed their business in ways that made their products more expensive. 11% said excessive litigation led them to lay off employees. The lawyers say, what do you mean? We're not that costly. Those record-breaking verdicts you hear about are rare. Most of our suits never even get to trial. And that's true. But that doesn't matter. Our legal system is so expensive that when you're sued, you lose even if the case is dropped. That's what happened to this business in California.
Basketball Town was a special events facility for basketball, volleyball, various sporting events where kids and families could come and spend time after school and on the weekends in a positive athletic environment.
But then a boy booked a birthday party. They scheduled it upstairs. One guest showed up in a wheelchair.
We actually offered to move the party downstairs, and they declined. And as a result, months later, we were served with a lawsuit. Basketball Town was eventually dropped from the lawsuit, but they still had to pay lawyers $100,000. Finally, as a result of all the legal fees associated with the lawsuit, we had no choice but to close the facility. You were dropped from the case. Crystal Chodas joins us now, I should say. You used to work there. You're out of work now. Right. We went out of business due to the legal fees, about $100,000 in legal fees,
and
fighting
that was
it.
All the money you
That
had?
money should have been going to programs for kids in the community, and it did not.
How many people lost jobs?
About a dozen employees.
And not just your place, the pizza parlor that serviced the area?
The pizza parlor, there was a family-owned business inside. They owned the pizza parlor. Their kids came in and worked on weekends with them, a great family, and it's cost them everything. They have literally lost everything over this lawsuit.
And kids lost a place to play. Your son is in the audience. Zachary, what'd you lose?
Well, I know me and a lot of other kids just lost a place to go and play basketball. Like, it was really the only one in the neighborhood with a lot of courts to...
So where do the kids go now?
There's pretty much nowhere to go unless you want to drive up to Rockland, which is about 45 minutes away.
And you're out of work?
Yes.
Have you found another job?
I went back to school to get my teaching credential, and now I'm hoping to find a teaching job.
Okay, if you're out there, you want to hire her. I'm told she's a good worker. Jim Copeland joins us from the Manhattan Institute and Trial Lawyers, Inc. Read that and you'll see how rich these trial lawyers have become. That's a publication from the Manhattan Institute. They say they're just helping make us safe.
Well, lawyers in some lawsuits may make us safe, but overall they make us less safe. There are lots of things that we don't get. We don't get to have because of these lawsuits. So when mothers are going into the hospital because of their morning sickness, because the drug Bendectin has been taken off the market due to lawsuits, that's making women...
Bendectin's available in other countries.
It's available in every other country, but it's not available here because we're the ones with this wacky litigation system.
Now, you defend business. You could say that we're cherry-picking the most extreme examples. Most businesses don't close. What's your answer to that?
Well, most businesses don't close, but the rest of us are shareholders of these businesses. The rest of us are consumers of products that cost more or aren't introduced into the market. And it's important to realize, Mr. Stark was talking about this being David versus Goliath. Who's the real David? Who's the real Goliath here? Is Crystal the Goliath, or is the real Goliath Jeffrey Feiger with hundreds of millions of dollars? If you look at the trial lawyers together, who we call Trial Lawyers, Inc., the plaintiffs' bar, they bring in over $40 billion a year. That's more than McDonald's. That's more than Coca-Cola.
They give huge amounts to politicians.
They give more than any other business or industry. Over the last 2 decades, they've given $1 billion. Harry Reid, the majority leader of the U.S. Senate, 4 of his top 7 contributors are out-of-state plaintiffs' law firms.
That Basketball Town video came from the Institute for Legal Reform's website, facesoflawsuitabuse.org. It's the Chamber of Commerce, and they have more war stories. In Maryland, 2 geese nested on the lawn of a pool equipment business.
They became protected by the Migratory Species Bird Act. We found this out when we called the Humane Society to find out how we could get rid of them because they were pooping all in front of our store. And we tried to follow the law. We let them do what they were supposed to do, which is sit here, hatch their eggs, and move on.
But then one of the geese flapped its wings and frightened a woman who then fell and broke her hip.
She was suing us for $750,000. Not only were we sued, our landlord was also named in the suit. Even the store next door was named in the suit. Our lawyer sent back a letter to her lawyer explaining that we really didn't have anything to do with the goose other than it was in front of our store.
And the goose was not our employee or our agent.
In court, they won, but under our legal system, even when you win, you lose. They still had the sleepless nights because they were being sued for a ton, still had to pay their lawyer thousands of dollars for his legal fees. Give you the last word about this.
It's just important that we fix the system, John. Nobody's saying to get rid of lawsuits. It's like you set out in the introduction. But we need to get rid of the bad lawsuits, and it doesn't need to be a game that's rigged for the lawyers. The lawyers are the prime beneficiary of our system, and we can change these rules and mean that people like Crystal are going to still stay in business, and that people like Jeffrey Feiger aren't going to make quite as much money.
That'd be good. Crystal, Jim, thank you very much.